Avatar Fire and Ash is one of those movies where I can say I had a good time watching it, but I also don't think I would go out of my way to tell someone, you need to watch this right now. For me, it falls somewhere between a 6 and a 7 out of 10. It is entertaining enough, especially if you already like the world of Avatar, but it also feels like the movie is doing a lot of things we have kind of seen before in this franchise. The biggest strength of the movie is still the world. Pandora still has that magic to it. Even from the story and dialogue, you can tell the movie is trying to give you that same feeling of beauty, nature, family, spirituality, and war all mixed together. There are moments where it feels emotional, especially with Jake's family still dealing with grief, loss, and the fear of losing someone again. The movie does a decent job showing how the family is not fully healed. They are still carrying the pain from what happened before, and that pain affects how they treat each other. I actually liked that part. The family drama felt more interesting than some of the bigger action scenes. Jake is still trying to protect everyone, but sometimes his version of protection feels more like control. Neytiri is dealing with hate, grief, and trauma in a way that makes her colder towards Spider, and that creates real tension. Spider's place in the family is probably one of the more interesting parts of the movie, because he is technically human, but emotionally he belongs with them. That conflict gives the movie some heart. Kiri also has a big role here, and her story is probably one of the more mysterious parts. The movie leans even more into her connection with Aiwa, her powers, and the idea that she is different from everyone else. Some of that is interesting, but I will be honest, it also feels like the movie is stretching that mystery for too long. There are moments where I wanted the story to just move forward instead of giving us another spiritual question without a clear answer. The Ash people are probably the biggest new idea in the movie. I like the concept more than the execution. The idea of a Na'vi clan that has turned away from Aiwa and follows fire instead of nature is actually pretty cool. It gives the movie a darker angle and shows that not every Na'vi clan thinks the same way. That could have been really powerful, but at the same time, I don't think the movie fully uses them as well as it could have. They feel dangerous, yes, but not as deep or memorable as I wanted them to be. The villain side is also a mixed bag. Quaritch is still around, and at this point, I don't know if I'm fully tired of him or still interested in him. There are parts of him that work, especially when the movie focuses on his connection with Spider. That relationship has some good tension because he clearly wants to see Spider as his son, but Spider doesn't fully accept him. Those scenes are more interesting than the standard military villain stuff. But when the movie goes back to humans attacking Pandora again, it starts to feel very familiar. That is probably my biggest issue with the movie. A lot of it feels like Avatar doing Avatar again. The visuals, the clans, the family conflict, the humans destroying things, the big final battle, the emotional speeches, the spiritual connection with nature. All of that works to some extent, but it doesn't always feel fresh. It is not boring exactly, but there are definitely moments where I felt like, okay, I know where this is going. The pacing is also not perfect. There are parts that feel stretched out. The movie has a lot of characters, a lot of emotional threads, a lot of action, and a lot of spiritual mythology. Sometimes it works, and sometimes it feels crowded. It jumps between Jake, Neytiri, Kiri, Spider, Loek, the Ash people, Quaritch, the RDA, the Reef clan, and the Tolkien storyline. Individually, some of these ideas are good, but together, the movie feels a little overloaded. That being said, when the movie does action, it still knows how to create tension. The final act has that big Avatar-style scale, with ships, creatures, battles, underwater moments, flying scenes, and emotional stakes all happening at once. If you are watching just for spectacle, you will probably enjoy those parts. It has that blockbuster feeling. It is big, loud, dramatic, and visually easy to imagine as something that would look great in theaters. But emotionally, I don't think it always hits as hard as it wants to. Some scenes are strong, especially anything involving grief or family guilt. But other scenes feel like the movie is trying very hard to make you feel something. It has a lot of lines about family, ancestors, Iowa, hate, grief, and sacrifice, and after a while, some of it starts to feel a little repetitive. Not bad, just a little heavy-handed. For me, the best parts were the quieter emotional conflicts. Jake realizing that running away will not protect his family forever. Neytiri struggling with her hate for humans. Spider being trapped between two worlds. Carrie trying to understand what she is. Loak standing up for Payakan and challenging the old ways. Those are the parts where the movie feels like it has something real underneath all the visual spectacle. The weaker parts are where the movie feels too familiar or too long. The humans are still mostly the same type of villains. The battles are impressive, but not always surprising. Some of the dialogue is a little too dramatic, and because there are so many storylines, not every character gets the space they need. So overall, I would say Avatar Fire and Ash is a decent watch. If you are already a fan of Avatar, you will probably find enough here to enjoy. The world is still beautiful, the family drama still has weight, and the action still has scale. But if you are not already invested in this franchise, I don't think this movie is going to completely win you over. It is the kind of movie I would watch when I'm in the mood for something big and cinematic, or when I'm bored and want to escape into another world for a while. But if I had something better or more original sitting in front of me, I would probably watch that first. My rating would be around 6.5 out of 10. Not bad, not amazing. Good enough to watch, but not something I would strongly recommend unless you already care about Pandora and these characters.